before launch. Everybody will be able to pre-register, maybe even be able to secure their names ahead of time before launch. Right now, we are looking at Lima as maybe the main option for our servers.
PvE or PvP? That's the question.
I mean, if it was my decision right now, I would just say let's do PvP so I can go and kill people 24/7. Once we start opening up pre-registration, we're going to be doing a phase-based release of our server, but one of our European servers is growing a little bit too quickly, and we might have to look at adding another server or getting a stronger machine.
And we also are hoping in 1.18, somewhere in that pipeline, to release a new battleground, as well as rework Sunnyglade, Karazhan 48, which is going to be coming fairly soon, as well as the PvP tower, contested area, open world objectives. Those are either going to be the same time as Karazhan 40.
Now, I have to be aggressive, guys, because I want answers. Okay. So what's going on, guys? When is this server coming?
We do have 2 dates.
Welcome everyone, welcome to my channel. This is gonna be my first YouTube video in English. It's a special occasion for me, but it's also because we have a special guest today. I have the pleasure of speaking with Akalix Neto, and they are the key members behind the WoW project, and I think it's gonna be a very exciting video because if you were asking who is behind this server, how it all started, and what the future holds to WoW, I think it's gonna be a great video. So guys, if you want to start like with a brief description about yourself, or tell us something about you, what do you do in WoW, and yeah, I'm listening.
Sure. Akalix, you want to go first?
Sure. So I'm Akalix. I've been a part of the WoW team since 2022. I've been a part of the server for a little bit longer than that. And my role is multifaceted, but the main things I do are I am the English community manager. I also am the public relations lead. I am one of the head support people. I also help with promotion marketing. I run the content creator program. And generally, when there is some sort of voice or face to Turtle, that is me. So I am the one who talks about Turtle.
Yeah, Akalix is like the jack of all trades for everything. So he's the pretty face of Turtle WoW. Which is great. For me, I'm not nearly as interesting. I'm a developer in the WoW scene for many years, and I've been working on Turtle WoW for many years, even probably before we launched. We did a lot of work together, so like on developing Turtle WoW, and then I stepped back. I did my own thing, and then I just recently came back, probably about a year ago or so, helping out with development of the core, and now we've moved into the South America project, which I've been put in charge of organizing alongside a great team that I have, and that's me.
Okay, great. I'm gonna tell you something to start with the question and everything. I asked more than 100 players between my community and the Discord. That congratulations. I think we're almost 8,000 members on Discord.
Yeah,
and well, I asked 100 of them, and 75% at least, well, 70% they answered they are new players in WoW. So I think that's the main goal here, to present WoW to those people that they just know WoW, or they are gonna start in this new server that is gonna open soon, hopefully. And my first question is, I want you to talk about what's WoW, how long have you been doing this, and what motivated you to start this adventure?
So Turtle WoW has been around since the very end of 2018. Quite an old network at this point. And sort of the motivation behind the project is, what if we took that original spark that everyone can remember when you first downloaded WoW, when you first played the game, walked into Azeroth. It was big, mysterious. every new corner was something else amazing, and it was the game that you fall in love with, where you're walking around these corners, finding these little secrets, you're finding all these different places to adventure. The world seems infinitely large, and you're just this tiny little adventurer in this world. We want to recapture that essence because everyone has played WoW to death at this point. We've all played vanilla WoW for years and years and years. And there's a certain level of it solved, and it's, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best game of all time. But it's solved, has flaws, and is eventually going to just be the same thing. It doesn't have that same magic to it. So our sort of motivation, maybe not to start it because I can't comment because I wasn't there at the very start, but our current motivation in the development of Turtle and the direction that we're taking is really expanding into the what could have been if, instead of going into Outlands and going into this interstellar battle against the Burning Legion, Blizzard kept developing WoW in a different direction and went in the direction of just expanding out Azeroth more. So trying to add in these little missing pieces or incomplete areas, stuff like adding in a little house in Goldshire, or, well, we know that there's Gilneas on the map there, but it's just not there. So, okay, we added in Gilneas, stuff like that, finishing Hyjal, all those sort of things. Our goal is basically to make the world feel full, vibrant, mysterious, lively, and finished.
I totally agree. I think that you are doing a great project. You are doing a great job. Nito, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, Akalix summed it up pretty well there. I think the only thing that I would throw in is that we are blessed to have such a strong team of creatives and developers and administration, where we can really take WoW and bring it to another level, another type of experience of WoW than we're all used to. 'Cause I think we all have our own thoughts on the direction of certain things in video games, and we all have opinions, and Turtle WoW has really found the right people to bring together to really create a really cool, exciting, and immersive experience that's still WoW, but it's different, and in my opinion, it's much better.
Yeah, and I think you get that feeling because I'm always playing retail, classic, not a lot. I'm not a classic Andy, but I knew Turtle WoW since 2021, and I playing on and off. But these last months, I was only creating content and playing Turtle WoW because I really like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's great to see these guys working hard on getting great content out. And, we make mistakes sometimes and stuff happens, but they always turn it around and they always come out with a better product in the end, which is great.
And now I want to ask you something like that is very important for me and kind of surprisingly. What's the project interest and what the project's interests are, and why South America?
Well, we have a large player base, as you know. It's in the tens of thousands every day, and a large amount of them are unable to play in their local region. So we got a lot of South American players that have to connect to Europe in order to play, and obviously that comes with some latency and some higher MS when they're playing, and that's sometimes not great, especially if you're a big PvPer or just running through Goldshire and talking to people. It's a little annoying if it's too high of a latency. So that is a big driver. We've had a lot of people that have come to us and said, hey, like, I'm in South America, are you guys going to come here? And finally we said, let's look into it, and we started looking into it last year, and we realized there's a big untapped market of players that we really want to deliver a more seamless experience, less, because we can't help latency. There's nothing we can do about that if it's a distance thing, right? So we want to keep creating Turtle WoW for years and years to come, and for that we need players, and expanding is kind of a natural next step of that, right? We need to keep on gathering more people. So South America is a great region to open up in, and I think it'll make a lot of our players happy.
That I speak with a lot of players like since long time ago that why they don't try WoW, and the first answer was it's because it's not in Spanish and I cannot understand nothing. So I feel like when you start to translate it to Spanish and also Portuguese, I feel you did that great, and I think that's the main reason a lot of people want to try WoW right now. Even though my English is not like perfect, but I understand English very well, and even though I cannot connect well with the world and the people if everything is in English, so I think you did something great there.
Yeah, it was kind of a non-negotiable. We had to do that because just like you said, that it's the experience. The experience is all that matters, right, for us, and we want to make sure that it's a great one. And if you're not able to play the game in your native language, that's really challenging for a lot of people, and it segments out a lot of people from being able to play with us. So our team came together real fast, led by our one of our leads in South America named Zurfi and Explorer, and they did an amazing job at rallying our team together and getting all these translations done. I mean, AI helped with sort of the base, and then we had to painstakingly go through each line with our team members in both Portuguese and Spanish to make sure that we delivered that, and that's all done. So it's going to be really great.
Okay, and related with the translation and everything, I want to ask you about the team of WoW, and because I was in the last, because you make a Reddit post about the developer question and answer or something like that, and I read something interesting, and I want to ask you here in this interview. What departments WoW covers in addition to the well-known ones like marketing and community management? I read in that post that this between 100 and 300 people working in the project. So that's real. How many people work there? How many departments that you got? I'm really interested about how is everything in the backstage, or how many people are.
Okay, so it's a little hard to give an exact number on how many people work on the project because there's a lot where they're not directly involved in the team. For example, in the main team Discord currently, there are 104 people who have the team role. However, that does not encompass, that only encompasses a majority of the EU team, whereas there are still a couple EU contributors who are not in there. And that does not include a majority of the Chinese team, which communicate on their own platform. They only have a couple of leads and a couple of QA in this server, as well as a good bit of the SA team is not in the EU server. They're in the SA server with a couple of leads in the EU server. So the Chinese support team alone is massive and round, if not bigger, than the same size as the entire EU team for everything. But just go through a couple of the departments. Like, everybody knows about the marketing communications department because everybody has heard my voice if they've looked up Turtle WoW enough. But a lot of the things that they don't know is the amount of different departments we have. So we have the server development team, we have the client development team, we have the story and writing team, the itemization team, media PR team, art and graphic design team, 3D modeling team, quality assurance team, website and tools team, sound design and radio team, support team, roleplay team, Unreal Engine team, Chinese team, translation team, and now SA team.
Don't forget about the team that we have that names all the teams.
Yes, the team naming team, the dwarf resources is very important.
Yeah.
And I'm very into the theory crafting and everything, and how many people are doing like the talents, or because I'm kind of interested when I'm seeing that, because your hit and all the stats like work a little bit different than the, let's say, the official version. So how many people are doing that? Is something that you have a lot of control, or do you want to, how you say, that you want to control and nothing just get out crazy with the stats and everything? I want to know who is doing that, or how many people.
The number has changed over time for class changes. Are people working on class changes? The number has changed over time as people have gotten involved and gotten uninvolved with it. but it's generally a compilation of some of the more I hesitate to say some of the nerdier people on the team because we're working on a WoW modding project that's pretty much a given at that point. But some of the people who are a lot better with numbers and who are a lot more into design, so it tends to lean more towards the design team, more towards the balance team tends to be more like design team and itemization team and QA, but not entirely. It's not exclusively them. So there was also a good bit other random people throughout the team who are involved there. Mostly those departments that make it up, and obviously all of it is ran by Jamie, who is our one of our management figures. He is the one who's sort of in charge of the Class Changes 2 project, and that just serves as that way we have a authority figure who is able to say, okay, we are going to go with this person's idea, not this person's idea, or okay, we are not going to do this, we are going to do this, just because otherwise it becomes a absolute mess of, I think we should do this, well, I think we should do this, well, actually, ooh, we should look at this, and just nothing would get done. So there's not a direct Class Changes team or anything like that.
Okay.
But it's mostly the game design and itemization teams that contribute to that.
Okay, great. And following with the departments and related with that, because I feel like some of you have like this is not like your hobby, it's like a full-time job, and also you will have volunteers and everything. But what is the financial support for Total WoW? For example, in my stream, I always say, hey guys, in my case, for example, I'm paying the official WoW, but this month or the last couple of months, I play that, I'm not, even if I paid it, I'm not playing it. So I just always trying to say, hey, for example, when you're gonna open the fresh realm, I'm gonna like donate something because I feel you're doing a great job. So I wanna ask you related with that, what is the financial support for Tutor? How you let's say make this project working during the time or the life? I don't know how to say that in English. Like,
I know what you mean.
okay, great. Sorry, I was
how we're gonna
struggling.
support ourselves. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, it's a great question because I think a lot of people, because we get this asked a lot, and I think a lot of people ask it for a few reasons. But one of the main reasons is the private server WoW scene is a little bit unstable. We've been very lucky to be operating for so many years and so successfully that people ask that question because they want to know we're going to be around for a while, right? We're not going to run out of money and the servers are going to shut down. So, since day one, we've had our servers online, and that's never been an issue because all of our support and all of our finances comes from player donations, which covers our costs, including our staff costs and our development costs and just our simple hardware costs. I was in a meeting the other day with our network, like our system administration team, and we're talking about having like 22 servers running across the world right now for various different things, and that's only going to go up now with South America. So, it's not a cheap thing to do what we're doing, but thankfully with the support of each community, we're able to hit our targets and be able to financially be stable. So really, it's all just about donations. We don't have any partners. We don't get any money from anybody other than our team, or sorry, our players.
And I think what you have in the shop is something like doesn't ruin the experience in game. What I see so far, I think comparing with all the places, like, what can I tell you that you don't know? It's something like you preserve the experience for the players, or at least I feel that that is working.
That's
For
been
sure,
very
like,
important.
Yeah, pay to win has always been a thing that we've been super against, right? So we don't want to introduce anything to the shop or to the game that's going to give people an unfair advantage. That's been one of our core values as a model in any decision that we make when it comes to the shop. I don't know if you want to move more on that, Akalix.
Generally, it's been one of those things where obviously there's the elephant in the room of if we put like you could buy items or you could buy a level boost or something like that, it would make a ton of money. it would be a money printer. But we don't want to add that to the shop, and we've always been vehemently against adding paid progression to the shop because we feel that it is directly against our vision. Our entire vision as a project is having the RPG experience again, where you're discovering this world, you're getting attached to the world, going around doing all these quests, experiencing all this stuff in a new way on this character that you are going to invest a lot of time into. We want to slow down from the retail sort of pace that WoW is on now, where it's literally the fastest way to level is just spam dungeon queues. Whereas on Turtle, it's go do some quests, then go do a dungeon, then go do some questing, kill some mobs, all that sort of stuff. It's experiencing the game. And a very big part of it is that we want people to play through the game. We don't want the game to start at max level. We want the game to start the minute you press create character. So having paid progression on the shop is something that we're just pretty vehemently against, even though, yeah, it would give us a lot more money. We could absolutely dump money into other projects at that point, where it could be like, oh, okay, we could have we could probably double the size of some of our teams with that much extra income, but it's not something that we want to do because that would be buying us more manpower at the cost of the soul of our project, and that's something we don't want to do.
And I think our players don't want that, right? Like,
yeah,
we have to do what is best for our longevity and our project and our fans, right? And our people that play on Turtle WoW, like, yes, I'm sure some of them would love to buy level 60 out the gate. I'm sure there would be. But that doesn't create a good future for our project, because the vast majority of our players don't want that. They don't want that pay to win experience. Back when Turtle WoW first started, for probably first couple of years, I know the management team was paying out of their own pockets just to keep the servers going, and they had every opportunity to switch to a pay to win model where you're getting all this money for progression, like Akalix said, and they didn't, because we understood that that's not what our players want. We want to be able to offer custom, cosmetic items and things that don't impact or give advantage in the game. Because, as Akalix said, that's just not what our people want.
And I totally agree. Sorry,
it's a little similar to the same reason why we are so strict on RMT and stuff like that on Turtle, is that a lot of, and I won't name names, but a lot of other ways that you can play WoW involve, there's a lot of gold bots, there's a lot of pay to win progression where, okay, you can just pay for a boost and you can get through the highest level of raid or the highest level of dungeon or the highest level of PvP if you just have enough gold, or if you, air quotes, don't have the gold, oh no, there's another way, hint hint, grab your credit card. Like, yeah. That sort of thing is just, for someone who wants to actually play and enjoy the game, it feels insulting to someone who wants to actually have pride in their accomplishments and stuff like that. So it's similar to why we're so strict on RMT, is because like gold selling and stuff does the same thing as pay to win in the shop does, where it's just completely devaluing the experience and completely devaluing any time that you spent in the game on your character's progression. And that's just something where it just absolutely sucks to have to play alongside that if you want to play legitimately. So the best thing to do is just not allow it at all.
That brings up a good point. Just one other thing before we move on. So we have a GM team, a game master team. Like I said, I've worked on a lot of projects over the years, and Turtle WoW has been a great example of how to organize and structure a GM team, because we have GMs on pretty much every hour of the day, and our goal, especially in South America, is to be launching with that in mind. We're going to have a GM or two available, hopefully in both languages, every hour of the day, so people will get that help as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's not guaranteed. Sometimes, our people need the time off, and sometimes there's maybe an hour gap or whatever. But the GM team here is crazy good. They're going after RMT, which is, in case anybody doesn't know, that's real money trading. They're going after RMTers, gold sellers, every single minute of the day, botters and multi-boxers and people who just break our rules. So the GM team is really, really structured, and they really keep it a fair gameplay experience as best as possible.
Yeah, and what I can add to what you're saying is that it's something I saw in the realm. So when somebody's doing something like that is not allowed in the rules, I saw with my eyes that the game masters there are very quickly.
Oh yeah, they're all over it.
No, it's something that was very surprising for me. And also in the Discord of in South America, you know that the police is not very, let's say, efficient, no? And one guy posted on the Discord, hey, I call a game master and they come faster than the police in my country. So it was kind of funny for me.
As a fun stat, how long do you think on average it takes to get a support response to a ticket in game?
I don't know your average time, but it's something I test because I was on a stream and somebody asked me, hey, why do you play on Turtogo? Or the game master are, how do you say, are supportive, they are quickly, okay, let's say, let's put a ticket, because I have a question about something that I didn't post the ticket because I at that moment I don't need the answer right now, and they answer me in like 5 minutes. So how much is the average time for a ticket?
The average, as of the last time that I measured it, which was a couple months ago when I put out the last post regarding it, was 71 seconds, I want to say, 72 maybe. Average time between a ticket going in and the ticket getting contact made about it. So less than 2 minutes on average for someone to have put in a ticket and gotten a response from AGN.
Even though for me 5 minutes was like something impressive. If you say 2 minutes, wow, it's something.
5 minutes is still good, yeah.
Something like
better.
Great, really great. Congratulations.
Yeah, so our GM team in Europe has been very active in training our South American team members, because obviously they're going to be fairly new. They have some of them have private server experience, but it's going to be fairly new. So we've had Cherry, which I'm sure anyone who plays on the European server knows who she is, has been a huge help in almost daily training of our team. And Vanth is the other support lead that's popped in and helped as much as possible as well. So we're going to be ready to go, hopefully day one with a strong GM team. And the reason that we talk about this is because, retail and classic, there's a lot of bots running around. There's a lot of stuff happening, that it really detracts from the game, and we don't want to be there. We don't ever want to have that same experience, and we don't with what we've got going on now. So
now that you're speaking about that, it's something that I don't want to say because it's something like very bad for the environment. That's true. I try Season of Discovery, I play Clásico, and it's something that is like very disgusting. What I say here in Turtogo, I never see that situation, and I think you're very strict with that. And from here I say thank you, and you are keeping like the environment very healthy. Let's say in that way.
Well, when you look at the core of what World of Warcraft was when it launched, it was a community game. It was all about getting online, meeting new people, or bringing your buddies in and experiencing some, great gameplay, even though it looked like crap back then and it was a little bit of a grind. You had a great experience. It was all about the community. You got to know people on your WoW server, and get to know the best guilds, and all the dynamics of a community existed, and that is something that has driven our project since day one. Is we want to make sure there's a community, because if you're playing on a server like right now, if you go on Classic, I'm not bashing them in any way, but if you go on Classic, and I've done it recently, your community is like 30% bots running around either farming gold or trying to level itself up so that it can be sold, and no one's talking, and they've really lost that community aspect. And that's something that we don't ever want to lose because we know that that's our bread and butter. That's what makes us so popular.
I agree. Okay, let's move to the next question. What is the future vision for the servers, especially in South America? I saw your roadmap, and in my case, well, I'm very interested in PvP, especially that you announced something related with contested areas. The roadmap is very old, so I don't know if anything changed on the way. And yeah, if you can tell me what is, especially in South America, but what is the future vision for the servers?
Well, I can at least talk about South America. Akalix can maybe expand further on future Turtle WoW stuff. But for South America, I mean, our plan right now is just to get, first of all, get launched. Everyone's kind of asking every day what the launch date is.
I'm gonna ask that too later, but
I know you will. I know. I'm sure. I knew it was coming. But the future is like right now we're seeing great numbers in Discord, which is great. Like you said, we're almost at 8,000, which is really great for what, a month of time on Discord. So first of all, our plan is to at least have one server, possibly two, depending on the numbers that we see once we start opening up pre-registration. We're going to be doing a phase-based release of our server because we're in a little bit of a unique situation where we had a choice. Do we open it up day one with all content, everything that we've got, or do we phase it? Because phasing allows a little bit of that competition as well. You have the Horde and the Alliance competition, but then you also have inter-guild competitions and player competitions on who can get this first and who can down this boss first or clear this raid first. So we're gonna launch. We'll have a timeline coming out for everyone very, very soon. It's just in the final stages of being prepared. But we're gonna be doing a phase-based release where raids and dungeons are released per phase, so we can get some competition out there, and then hopefully we'll be able to integrate some of the new mechanics and the new things coming out in Turtle WoW within those phases, so it's not too long that people have to wait. But yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. And Akalix, I don't know if you have anything for future Turtle WoW that you want to talk about.
I could talk a little bit about the roadmap. So here, I'll actually pull up the roadmap myself just to make sure I'm commenting correctly on it. So the roadmap we put out was at the start of 2024, and obviously some things have been a little bit changed over time on our goals for it. Obviously, we have hit the class changes, the new primary profession, the new customizations, alternative tier sets, dungeon update, economy updates, toy collection tab, some user interface updates. But obviously there are a few things that we haven't released yet, like the new Karazhan 40-man raid, which will be coming in the next couple months. Should be on the sooner end of that, but I don't have an exact date yet, so that's what I have to say. It's a little bit more vague. As well as the PvP tower, contested area, open world objectives. Those are either going to be the same time as Karazhan 40 or at the very start of 1. I believe those are the two windows it's slotted for. It's something we want to have as soon as possible, but it's also something where, admittedly, our priority right now is Karazhan 40. So development resources are not being put into other side projects right now besides bug fix. But that's one of the big things that we have, which is going to be open world objectives that encourage people to go out to these locations across the world. There are 3 currently selected, where people are encouraged to go out into the world, go fight at these objectives, given rewards if they do so, and basically it gets people to not just AFK in cities queuing battlegrounds if they want to be like playing PvP. It encourages them, okay, go out there. Go get into a fight. You're trying to play PvP? Okay, go kill someone. Put the war into Warcraft. And we also are hoping in 1.18, somewhere in that pipeline, to release a new battleground, as well as rework Sunnyglade. Those are both, though, things that we don't have an exact date for, but we already know what battleground we want to release and have a pretty good outline for it. It's just a matter of having it fully implemented and fully balanced out, designed, polished, all that. And Sunnyglade is just something that needs some reevaluation now that it is many years after its original release, and we are much better at game design than we were back then.
Great, great. Especially with the PvP things that you mentioned, I really, really like it. And another question about the future is, what about Unreal Engine? How is that working? I'm also checking all the time on the Discord channel. I think it's Scenarios that this one is leading that project. And
Yes.
yeah, I want to know what possibilities, because you mentioned in the trailer video that was like huge viral. Also, we can talk about that because all the big streamers were talking about Turtle, Esfan, Saryu, everyone react to that video. And you mentioned like you have like more possibilities to expand the world. I feel like how it works right now is like you have the assets that are in the 1.12 client. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a IT guy. And yeah, I want to know if Unreal Engine is going in the future soon, how it's going, if you want to talk about it, because it's part of your future goals, right?
Yeah. So the Unreal Engine is being developed by a team that we have partnered with. It is not being directly developed by our team. It's being developed by the Unreal Azeroth team. And what they have been working on is a complete recreation from the ground up of the vanilla client so that it works one-to-one in this Unreal Engine client. And that gives us unlimited possibility with client-side changes. So the main problem that we have right now is we can do whatever we want on the server side in the core. We can change that however we want because that's our core. That's a custom fork of Vmangos that is editable however we want to. But the problem that we run into there is then, okay, yeah, we have this lovely core, but we have a client that was designed when some of our player base was not even born yet. This client is more than 20 years old, and it shows. People have like horrible graphics when they first load in because it's put onto 800 by 600 scaling size, or resolution. It's scaled funky, it crashes, it can only use a single thread of your CPU for running all the add-ons, running everything, so you crash off of add-ons pretty easily. It's a mess of a client, and it's something where there's been a lot of things like vanilla tweaks, vanilla fixes, super wow, all this sort of stuff that helps NAM power, snowfall, all sorts of things that help with making it run smoother. You have things like Unit XP3 that helps with giving it more classic client functionality. Things like HD mod pack that help make it look better, but you can make it a nice, lean, strong one, and you can put as much makeup on it, but at the end of the day, the pig is still a pig. So, unfortunately, the client itself is just not good, and that's what we're trying to solve with the Unreal Engine update. And the reason we decided to go for Unreal Engine over trying to port to the Wrath of the Lich King client, which is a common question of why didn't you just do that, is yeah, it'd be easier to go to the Wrath client, but what's special about that? At that point, we're just like any other server who's on the Wrath client. If we go to Unreal, we can have both the option for the legacy version, which is going to have one-to-one graphics and basically just feel like a smoother, faster, better version of the original game. Or you can toggle the Unreal graphics, the modern version, and you can experience vanilla WoW like you have never experienced it before, with stunning graphics, all sorts of these features that were just not even possible in the original client. And it gives us the ability to do more with the client that was never intended for it. It gives us the ability to add in like different like space editors, for example, where in theory, if we did a player housing in the future, we'd be able to give you a different way to edit your player housing to make it a lot better than just like, oh, I'm standing here in game. If I press the fence button, it puts a fence in front of me. Oh, that didn't go where I meant it to. Okay, I have to press the undo fence button. Like, we can make it so much better for so many different custom features that you just can't do in the current client. So it's about giving us options there.
I like it because I think the key thing that you say is like we're doing something different, and if we choose the Lich King client, will be another server. Like it's the same. You're going like raising the bar, right? It's something that I agree with. Okay, moving on for more questions. This is something that worry a lot for the people, especially private servers. They say, hey, they are not going to run for a long time or not. I don't want to start because I want to be more established or whatever. And a lot of servers, let's say that they bet or they tried with the Spanish-speaking community, but they were unable to sustain a healthy number of active players. They were like dying slowly and slowly, and I don't know, is something that that you worry about, or do you have any strategy about how to keep the population very healthy? At the beginning, I entered on the WoW Discord South America when we were 700, and at that point I was kind of trusting the project, but the facts are the Spanish speakers in World of Warcraft, at least the numbers I think about, we are like a minority. The Portuguese are a minority too, and but now that we are almost 8,000 people on Discord, I feel that it's gonna be great. So I don't know if it's something that you think about it, or you really trust in WoW community, or maybe there is a lot of English people from North America that they are gonna play in the South America, and yeah, how do you see that thing?
I'll make a quick comment because I think Akalix is probably better with this stuff. But one thing I will say is, you're right. Going from 700 people on our first day to now 8,000 just 4 weeks later is really an inspiring thing, because obviously population in these types of games, and especially when it's all about community for us, is important. And there's a lot of doomers out there. There's a lot of people who will say, oh, dead server, like on day one when there's probably like 10,000 people playing. It's gonna happen. But one thing that I will say is Turtle WoW, back when we started, I remember seeing 100 people online at launch, or 180 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was low. It wasn't.
I remember, sorry to interrupt you, but I just do a /who when I was on Dark Shore in 2021, and it was like 400 players. I remember the exact name.
Yeah, we had nothing. So like, if you look at the 20 years or whatever, probably 15 years of private servers in WoW, the most successful ones have always been either the first or the ones that had huge numbers. And that's because, unfortunately, the base WoW game, over time, over content release, population declines. People get bored. There's not enough content. It's all been done for the last 20 years. So population declines. It's a natural state of the private server world. With Turtle WoW, they did the complete opposite when we first launched. They went from 100 people to now tens of thousands, and being across the Europe and China, and now going into South America. So it's kind of an inverse situation where we grow as time goes on. We don't lose players as time goes on. So I think for the future of South America, it'll be the same. We're going to start with strong numbers, and those numbers are only going to go up. I just saw a message 5 minutes ago about one of our European servers is growing a little bit too quickly, and we might have to look at adding another server or getting a stronger machine. Like, that's not a conversation we've ever really had in the private server world. So it's a great thing, and I'm personally not worried about that at all.
Okay, great.
Akalix, do you have anything to add to that?
Could you restate the question for me? Sorry.
Basically, there's a lot of communities, let's say private servers, that they bet for the Spanish speakers community, but because we're a minority, a healthy population in the server is something that we are concerned about, and we were talking about if this population is gonna grow, or if it's not, is something that you try to fix. I don't know, doing some promotions, like the how do you say, like the event that you did on Discord. Like, if you refer somebody, a lot of people, they give you like tokens in the game. So we were talking about like that. If you are something that are you working, or you are not worried at all?
So yeah, it is very important to us to have like a good population, because that is one of the things where people will 100% begin doomering a server if they think that it's dead server. Don't play there. It's below 20,000 people online currently. It's a very real issue, but it's something where we've shown with Telebeam, for example, on the EU network. We're not just going to abandon a server the moment that its population dips below a certain number. Telebeam went down pretty hard in population because it released right before multiple other big releases. So it had an initial population of about 5,000 or so, and then it just, over time, slowly dropped, and then dropped, and then dropped, and dropped, and dropped into the few hundred range. But over time, we've been promoting the network, both for Nordinar and for Telebeam, and we've seen over time just steady, little bit at a time growth, where now Telebeam is back up to being over 1,000 today.
Yeah, I saw it last week,
Nordinar-
1,000. I saw it.
Nordinar is at like pretty consistently hitting the 8,000 mark, and it's just a matter of this is before we have a big release. So after Karazhan releases, I'm sure the numbers are going to spike again. And this is before we're going to make another big marketing push that should also help with that, where it's a matter of we're not going to just give up on a server because the numbers are rough. And I know personally, just from experience, because I have a lot of experience in esports, the South American fan base, they are insanely passionate. Like, I have seen more so than almost any other region, the fans for the South American teams, like the Brazilian teams or the Mexican teams, any of those teams, they get passionate about their team. So I know that the fan base is going to be passionate and is going to be loyal. So it's going to be a matter of I want to really deliver for that fan base that we are going to have of players who are active on the South American network, where I want to give them that good network and good server, good population they deserve. And because I know that they're going to be loyal to us and they're going to be trusting in Turtle's vision, I want to do well by them. And that's going to mean that, yeah, we're not just going to, if the population dies off a little bit after the first week's hype goes away and it goes down, okay, project's over, project was a failure, goodbye. No, we're going to stick around and we're going to grow as much as we can.
Great. And what you said, it was a really good observation, because the people from South America are really passionate. Even though, well, I speak Spanish, but I'm from Europe. I'm from Spain. And even though that we share the same language, we know that they are really more passionate about what you can see in their daily life, like in the sports, in whatever they do. They put a lot of passion. They are very loyal people. So I think that's something very good. And you can see on the Discord, they are always chatting every day. They are speaking, talking, and I think it's very good that. Okay, now I have to be aggressive, guys, because I want answers. Okay, so well, I wanna I was expecting, I don't know, because I couldn't check the Discord now, and on Sunday they were like, the weekly updates and everything, and I always waking up and see on Discord when these guys are gonna post when is gonna be released the first realm. So that's the question about the South America realm. Do you have a day release, or do you think about, well, we can go step by step. Do you have a plan for the day, or is something that you don't want to talk about, or is something that you are still figuring out? So what's going on, guys? When is the server coming?
we don't ever want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to make promises that we can't keep. So that's why it's difficult for us to really lock down a day. Internally, we have 2 days that we are looking at right now, and it's all dependent on, because we don't want to launch if we're not ready, right? So because the launch is so important, and if it's not done properly, it could really hinder us for the future. And just like Akalix was mentioning about Telebeam, if we gotta start from a lower number and move our way up, that's like, you're starting at the bottom of the hill. We'd rather start at almost near the top of the hill and work our way up. So We do have 2 dates. I will tell you that they are within the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ish. But it all depends on making sure we have the correct, the best server. We're doing a lot of latency tests from around South America, especially with our team, who thankfully is from all the different countries in South America. So it's really great to get a good grasp of where everybody is and what the pings are. So it's really important we get a server that is low latency, accessible to everybody. Our networking team has to make sure that everything is set up secure and safe. And then as soon as that's done, our plan is to launch a pre-registration a week before launch. Everybody will be able to pre-register, maybe even be able to secure their names ahead of time before launch. We're just working on that right now. That'll take some development work. Yeah, I don't have a specific date I can tell you right now, but I can tell you it is within likely the next 3 weeks.
Okay, no, don't worry. I expect that you will dodge this question, so I was ready for that.
Hey, I was surprised I even gave you the 3 weeks, to be honest.
Okay, don't worry. It has to be like that. I mean, I prefer. Well, I think that's your motto, right? Like your mission is slow and steady, like a turtle, and doing
Exactly.
the things very good. PvE or PvP? That's the question. Or what the people prefer. I run a survey, for example, for those 100 players I told you in the beginning, and they were like 50-50.
Yeah.
My opinion, I'm a PvP lover. I think for the healthy of the realm of everybody, the war mode, the war mode that you have implemented in Northern, I think is something like very great. In general, everyone can play. Whoever doesn't want to do PvP, they don't do, and I think it's something very in the middle. But it's true that the PvPers like me, we are kind of not receiving the content, or let's say the funny, the entertainment that we want. So do you think about it, or is something that you don't have on the table right now?
Dude, for me, I am the exact same as you. I'm a huge PvPer. So when I don't play much WoW because I live in that world, but all the other games I play, they're all PvP games. So I get it. I'm a huge PvPer myself. In my mind, I think everybody wants to PvP, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Especially with Turtle WoW. Like Turtle WoW is a very content-rich, custom-made game. It's you're right. We've not done enough with the PvP side, and that's something we actually have discussed internally already. And I think that's something that we're going to be hopefully moving on this year at some point, getting a little bit more of the PvP side in. But today, Zerfi and Explorer are going to do their weekly Sunday post, and in that we're actually going to have a poll to get the vibe of the community on what they want, if they want to see a PvP or PvE realm. That poll won't be determinative. It's not going to be the one that's going to say, okay, we're going to do this. It's just more of an informational one, so we can get to kind of get the temperature of what the player base is like in South America. But I'm with you. I mean, if it was my decision right now, I would just say let's do PvP so I can go and kill people 24/7 wherever I want. But it's going to be a decision that the team has to make as a whole, as a lead team.
I see. Okay. And related with the host location, because in the I think it was last week that you did like some tests about where the server is gonna be located, and you mentioned like that you try in, I don't know how it works, like in Europe, or that you're connecting from Europe or wherever. The people were kind of confused because they say, hey, they are going to put the server located in Europe. And just to clarify, the server is gonna be within the region, or do you have like a specific location, or are debating between 2 or 3? How is going?
We've been going through a lot of different hosts in South America. We're not going to launch in South America and host a server in Europe. That defeats the purpose of what we want to do. We want to make sure that the game is regionally available and the latency is low. So yeah, it's going to be in South America. We're looking at some locations. We're trying to find something more central. They're our ping tests that we're doing right now are with our team members, and like I said, they're spread out. So we're getting a good idea of where we want to be. Right now, we are looking at Lima as maybe the main option for our servers, because in this world, a lot of people don't realize, but in this world, obviously we have to find a host somewhere, right? We can't just go to a country and then rent a building and plop a server in there. We have to find a host that is reliable, because we don't want to see downtime. We don't want to see faulty equipment. We don't want to see faulty hardware. We had several issues in China when we first launched there because of hardware issues and supplier issues. So we have to really vet each one of these potential server hosts before we say, okay, we're going to go with these guys. And thankfully, we think that we found one. Like I said, Lima is the most likely option right now because it's a little bit in the middle. It seems to have the best ping for people in Colombia and Brazil and Argentina and everywhere in between. So that'll be the likely scenario, but it's not 100% yet.
Okay, great. I think I don't have any more question about the first realm. Do you have anything do you want to share, or is something that you want to keep like hidden until the time that you make the announcement?
No, I don't think I have anything to hide. I think one of the questions was about the payment methods in South America, because there was, I guess,
That's
when
true.
people...
Yeah, let's okay. Let's jump to that one, because I speak with people from Latin America. I live currently in Canada, but all my life I was living in Spain, and they were concerning about the payment methods for the shop, and they say that PayPal doesn't work well in some regions. So I don't know if you have any other options that you are gonna open, or is something that you be aware of, or if you can answer that question, will be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. This is something that we obviously, it's important because we have to be able to pay our bills. Our South, by the way, just so everybody knows, our South America team is as independent as possible from the rest of we don't want to impact anything happening over in Europe or China. We like to make sure that our regions are self-sufficient. So in order to do that, we have to have payment processing within each region that works for the players. So we've been looking at this as well. We have a new partner that we're bringing on across Turtle WoW in the next probably this week, that we're going to test out and make sure that it works well for everywhere. And then they should also be able to supply us with payment options in South America. I mean, with PayPal, I know that they have PayPal now, but it's a type of PayPal where you can either have money on your PayPal account or you can use a credit card to pay. So I think that's probably good enough. But we're also looking at other partnerships with the banks and stuff down there through this new supplier.
Okay.
So it's an active conversation. We're not just gonna open and hope things work out.
Great. Okay, this is the last question with this interview, and later you can ask me whatever you want or add whatever you think the people would like to hear. And this is related of the new patch release, or where we are very excited about what is the upcoming, not only the realm, but do you have any date, or where is going to be the next patch or the next content that you have in mind, or you don't think about it? You are only focused on the server. My question is basically if you have any news about when the new content is coming.
For me, my focus is South America, so I don't have a ton of information on that, but I'm sure Akalix can probably fill you in.
So obviously next is going to be the Karazhan 40 raid, which is going to be coming fairly soon. It's been something that's getting a lot of work on it right now, just to make sure it's fully polished, but we don't want to release it in a buggy or unpolished state, so that's why it hasn't been dropped just yet. However, after that, we will have 1.18 following it up it'll be ready pretty soon after the release. It's just a matter of making sure it's all polished and all good to go. Once that is done and dusted, we'll have 1.18 published as well. And from there, we'll be looking more into a handful of patches. We have a lot of patches currently in development, a lot of different stuff, different stages of the development process, all in works at the same time right now. So we will have plenty to give in terms of content in the near future. So I would not worry too much about oh, does Turtle have a plan for future content? Yes, we do, and we have plenty of exciting stuff coming this year. So
Okay.
Yeah, and for South America, like I said, it's going to be phase releases. So we won't be caught up to current Turtle WoW for a little bit of time. So that'll give that plenty of time to make sure that all the bugs and everything are worked out. But like Akalix said, I mean, I wake up every morning and I see all these. There's so many chats that we have, and people are just working hard to get Kara out and make sure that it's a good experience. And it takes time, you know.
And something I don't know if you mentioned that or we skip it. Do you plan on the fresh realm to be like Tel Aviv, that they are releasing the content progressing like phase 1 and phase 2, phase 3, or is gonna be all the content since the first day?
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It'll be just like Telebeam.
I see.
Not the same content release. We're gonna adjust it a little bit, but it's gonna be very similar to that scenario. So people can compete and they can be more of a. It's not all in your face right away, right? We don't want people to get bored. We want to spread it out so we can continue to keep people entertained the whole time.
Okay, great. I think that's all. 1 hour sharp. And if you have one question for me or you want to add something, yeah, please say to the audience whatever you want to say. And for me, that's all the questions I have.
I don't have anything else. I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us. We're super thrilled to be in South America, and honestly, I cannot wait to get started. But we're not going to get started until we're 100% ready. So we should have an update with you guys soon. Also, every Sunday we do updates. So anybody who's listening, if they want to hop into our Discord and check for regular updates, they're more than welcome to.
all I have to add is just, as always, I like to say thank you for your continued support of Turtle WoW and following the project. Even if you are just somebody who plays free to play, have never donated in your life, we appreciate you so much, because having players on the server that's what we're doing it for, is to have people play our game and to have this fun experience that we can share with people. And it's so much more fun when there are people there to play with. That's what we're doing it for, is the community and playing with people. So
Okay, great. And I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you. And I know that you are very busy, and I think this 1 hour is gold for you. Thank you for being here, and have a great day.
Thanks, man. You too.
okay.